There's an email sitting in your drafts. You know the one, the follow-up, the boundary, the invoice reminder, the message that says, this is outside scope. And you keep telling yourself you'll send it when you feel more confident. But confidence usually turns up after you send it. Today we're talking Piglet, the part of us that hesitates, and how to lead yourself through that moment. This is Grit and Grace, the podcast for business owners who want to grow profitably and sustainably without sacrificing their life to their work. I'm Donna, I'm an accountant based in Australia, and this is episode 2 of the 100 Acre Wood Boardroom. Before we begin, a quick note, today's episode is general information only. It doesn't take into account your personal circumstances and it is not financial or tax advice. Please seek advice specific to your situation. Boring stuff over. Quick context, because it matters. After my husband passed away, I reached for Winnie the Pooh during grief. It was steady and familiar, something I could hold when everything felt too sharp. Reading it as an adult, I realised the characters are mirrors. They're not cartoons. They reflect patterns in us, and especially when life feels uncertain. Piglet is the pattern of hesitation. I'll do it later. I don't want to upset anyone. What if they think I'm difficult? If you've been there, you're not alone. Let's talk about what really happens with that draft email. You write it and immediately feel a bit tight in your chest, so you soften the wording. Then you read it again and think, that sounds too blunt. So you add context. Then you add another sentence to explain the context. Then you add a line to reassure them that they're still lovely, and then you don't send it. You save it as a draft, close your laptop, and you try and move on. But you don't move on, do you? It pops into your head in the car, it turns up while you're cooking dinner, it wakes you up at 2 a.m. And that's the part I want you to hear clearly. Avoidance doesn't remove the discomfort, it just stretches it out. It turns one uncomfortable moment into 3 days of background anxiety. Piglet thinks waiting will make it easier, but usually waiting makes it heavier because your brain starts writing stories. They'll be offended. They'll leave. They'll tell other people I'm hard work. They'll think I'm greedy. They'll say I'm not worth it. All of that from a message, and you haven't even sent it yet. So if this is you, I'm not here to tell you how to toughen up. I'm here to tell you you're human, but you can still lead. Piglet doesn't show up in drafts. He shows up in how women run businesses. And I see it all the time, and it's usually the most capable, most conscientious women. They don't want to be seen as too expensive. They don't want to be seen as difficult. They don't want to disappoint anyone. So they price to be the easy yes. They add a little extra just to be safe. They keep replying after hours because they don't want to seem unhelpful. They say yes to things that don't really fit because they're worried their work will dry up. And they can be busy and successful on paper while feeling completely worn down. That's not because you're doing business wrong. It's because you're trying to build a business on comfort. And comfort is a shaky foundation. Because when you avoid discomfort now, you often choose a bigger discomfort later. Late nights, resentment, thin profit, and a business that takes more than it gives. This is where grit matters. Not hustle, grit. The grit to be clear. So the simplest truth that I can give you is that courage comes first. Confidence comes second. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you earn. You earn it by collecting evidence that you can do hard things and survive them. And the hard thing here isn't a grand gesture. It's usually a small, direct action. Send the follow-up. Hold the boundary. Quote the price that you know is fair. Say no without a long explanation. That's how self-trust is built. And self-trust is what makes business feel steadier. So here's a tool I want you to use. It's the 48-hour rule. If there's a message you need to send to protect your business, whether it's for payment, scope, boundaries, pricing, send it within 48 hours. Because after that, your brain builds a whole movie. And once the movie starts, you start negotiating with yourself. Maybe I'll let it slide. Maybe I'm overacting. Maybe I should just do it this once. That's not strategy, it's fear. So keep it simple and keep it timely. So here's 3 scripts that you could use to turn it on its head. You can adjust the tone to sound how you like it. So for something that's out of scope, try, "Thanks for sending this through. That's outside the scope of what we agreed. I can quote it separately, or we can schedule it for next month." Maybe it's an overdue invoice. "Hi, we're just following up on invoice X due on Y. Please confirm when payment will be made. Work will resume once the account is up to date." And maybe an availability boundary. "Thanks for your message. I respond within business hours and will come back to you tomorrow." Notice what these scripts do. They're clear, they're respectful, and they don't ask you to perform any emotional labour. You're not being rude, you're being professional. And professional is safe. So here's your next challenge for the next 7 days. Pick one avoided message, just one, and send it. Then pick one standard that stops the same situation from repeating. Something like invoices go out within 24 hours. Follow-ups happen weekly. Deposit required before work begins. No discounting on the spot. Response times in business hours only. One message, one standard, 7 days. And if you feel shaky when you hit send, it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing something new. Piglet isn't something to get rid of. Piglet is the part of you that wants safety. So give yourself safety through standards, not through shrinking. Send the email, hold the boundary, keep the price. Courage first, confidence second. Our next episode, we'll be talking about Tigger. He's the one with the big energy, the big ideas, and how to stop restarting your business every Monday. Until next time, keep your grit and protect your grace.
In the quiet, before the daylight breaks, I'm drawing lines for my own sake. I've carried more than I let on show, still found a way to learn and grow. With steady hands I set the pace, a fierce heart held in gentle space. I won't trade my peace for proof, I won't build a life without a roof. I'll rise, I'll rest, I'll recalibrate, strong enough to do, wise enough to wait. It's grit and grace, side by side, fire in my chest, calm in my mind. I'll build what lasts, I'll choose my lane, turn pressure into purpose, paint it again. With grit and grace, I'm free to be all I am, becoming steadily. I won't shrink back to make it easy, I won't stay small to keep things tidy. I'll speak the truth, I'll name my worth, put roots down deep and do the work. And when it's heavy, I won't break, I'll bend with care, then reset my faith. I'll measure growth in more than gold, in quiet wins and courage bold. I'll lead with heart, I'll honor pace, ambition guided by restraint and grace. It's grit and grace, side by side, fire in my chest, calm in my mind. I'll build what lasts, I'll choose my lane, turn pressure into purpose, paint it again. With grit and grace, I'm free to be all I am, becoming steadily. Let it be simple, let it be true, a steady rhythm pulling me through. When doubt is loud, I'll still begin, again and again I'll choose to win. Not by force, not by fear, by showing up year after year. It's grit and grace, side by side, fire in my chest, calm in my mind. I'll build what lasts, I'll choose my lane, turn pressure pressure into purpose. Painted again with grit and grace. I'm free to be all I am, becoming steadily. Grit and grace. I rise, I breathe, I make my place. Grit and grace. Side by side,